Guys, welcome or welcome back. We are doing your full moon horoscope for the full moon in Pisces, which is happening this Wednesday, August 30th, 2023. Is going to be happening at 4:36 p.m. Eastern time. That is 6:36 p.m. Pacific time for reference. This is going to be a collective horoscope. We're going to go over your channeled and scripted messages. I always post those over on my Instagram and on my YouTube community page, so you guys can reference those to see if anything resonates for you in your personal life, just like I do on my individual tarot readings. And then we will just kind of go over the aspects a little bit and maybe pull a couple tarot and oracle cards if we have time. Let's just go ahead and jump right into your channel messages. And if you guys are new here, my name is Leah, aka the Cosmic Rose, and we do astrology 101, tarot, and spirituality here on my channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you aren't already, so you can stay up to date on the current astrology. I also do your all sign tarot horoscopes and other spiritual topics. For this full moon in Pisces, this is the last sign of the zodiac. You know, Pisces is the furthest and most spiritual and kind of out there sign of the zodiac. And we think about the full moon, there's always an opposition between the sun and the moon. The sun is in lovely Virgo, and for reference, this is happening at 7 degrees and 25 minutes of the sign of Pisces. So we're still in the first decan of Pisces. I'm sorry, the first decan of Virgo and Pisces, because the moon is in Pisces. But the first channel message that I was getting was, what is subconsciously blocking us from evolving? And this really kind of ties into the conjunction that we have with Saturn going on at the time of this full moon, because Saturn is restrictions, it's blocks, it's time, effort, discipline, things of that nature. He's kind of like the angry father figure, angry grandparent figure in some way, shape, or form. But there's something being blocked there, and we'll get further into this when we go into the aspects of this full moon. But definitely that could be a very useful thing for you guys to do shadow work on, or journaling, or scripting on, is what is subconsciously blocking you. You can even relate this to your own personal natal chart and see where 7 degrees of Pisces is in your personal chart. I was also getting something about where in our relationships have we been blocked spiritually. So because Pisces is a sign about spirituality, it's the furthest sign out in the zodiac, it's the last sign in the zodiac. It's like, this is kind of like a final test of, you know, are we really living in our integrity, in our relationships, in our one-on-one connections? And not that there's a whole lot of connections with Venus retrograde during this full moon, but there is I believe it's an in conjunction over to Juno. Yeah, it's an exact in conjunction to asteroid Juno, which is the planet of marriage, but it can be seen as long-term relationships too. It doesn't necessarily have to have that, you know, signed piece of paper of a marriage. But where has our long-term relationships, even if this is from the past, where have these relationships, our one-on-one romantic connections, held us back in some way, shape, or form from our whole entirety of our divine purpose and mission? Also, what boundaries have we let slide spiritually in relationships into ourselves? So this isn't only in our one-on-one connections, but it's setting boundaries in ourselves spiritually. Have we been in alignment with our mission? Have we been doing the work spiritually, individually? And what have we been letting slide? You know, have we been sitting down to do our meditation practice that we know is so integral for our spiritual growth and our mental clarity, even with the sun in Pisces? And have we been letting that slide? Have we only been meditating once a month or meditating once a week? I know I can fall victim to this a lot. I shouldn't say victim. I can fall guilty of this just as often as the rest of us can. It's part of being human. But this full moon is really highlighting where we can set those boundaries, or maybe we've even been a little too rigid and, you know, overly critical on ourselves, because Virgo is a sign that is known to be overly critical and analytical and the OCD perfectionist of the zodiac. Pisces is the complete opposite. Sometimes Pisces can be a little bit elusive. So that's what this axis is highlighting. It's where have we been too overly analytical and too kind of just hard on ourselves for not living up to our imperfect perfectionism. And then Pisces is like, whoa, we need to get back into alignment. So it's finding a healthy balance there with an opposition, no matter what opposition it is. And of course, a full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. I also saw 777. I saw 1150, life path 6, life path 3, something about June 3rd. And I saw the number 44. And then in question marks, a huge one at the top I have, have we lost track of time? Question mark, question mark, question mark. In quotes, I have the art of silence. Stillness and silence could be beneficial. Shut off outside influences like the TV, phones, music, even fans. I can't remember who it was. I think it was like David Palmer, the Leo King. He said, this is like a long time ago. He said something about how I've always been a person who sleeps with a fan on, but he said something about fans being on in one of his videos or horoscopes while you sleep, and how it kind of like drowns out your soul in a way, which was an interesting way to look at it. But I got a similar message channeling this message, and it kind of just made me think of that. But, you know, I feel like us as a society, we're almost afraid to sit with ourselves. We may spend enough time individually on our own, and we may consider ourselves independent, but are we really alone? Are we drowning ourselves out with all this, you know, we have all this quick access to so much information nowadays with technology, and, you know, we can play any song we want at the click of a button. We can watch any video on YouTube at the click of a button. We can call up a friend in an instant that's on the other side of the world. But have we really just sat with ourselves? Even during meditation, sometimes it's nice not to have that music on, because it's really about not letting the outside distractions get in confrontation with your consciousness. So there's something here about sitting still and in silence and really just kind of embracing it, enjoying that awareness within itself. Something about correcting our thinking patterns. Subconsciously, this could be a way of lack thinking or a lack mentality that is just bringing more lack. So, you know, if we aren't able to correct these subconscious thinking patterns, or if we're not able to consciously be aware of them, then we're not able to correct them. So this is about taking an honest look at yourself. Virgo is very much about that, especially with all these planets retrograde right now. This is a huge time to kind of go over and see what needs to be reviewed, what needs to be restructured, where can we improve our thinking patterns, and what is being imprinted on our subconscious on a daily basis. Something about matching your vibration to your desires and your goals. I saw 1714, 1742. Those could be years, or they could just be numbers in some way, shape, or form that you guys are seeing. Remember, this is a collective reading, so not everything is going to resonate with everybody. So take what resonates and how it resonates, and leave the rest for someone else. Something about a polar bear, Cyrus A star, and starseed activations. Focus on what brings you joy, vitality, life, and energy. Cut out toxic behavior patterns and activities that don't bring these. So joy, vitality, and life and energy. You know, Pisces is a sign that is sometimes the escapist. They're very prone to escapism. Things like drugs and alcohol could be prevalent at this time. So if you are somebody that overindulges or indulges even just a little bit, I wouldn't recommend overindulging or indulging in those types of things at all during the time of this full moon. But if you are somebody that has those tendencies, these things could be highlighted of things that you need to set your boundaries on, because Pisces has a way of really making you lose yourself, and then Virgo will just snap you right back into place, especially with Saturn there conjuncting the moon. So it's like, wait a second, where have you gotten a little too out of control with these things, these coping mechanisms, these escape mechanisms, and where do you need to bring more boundaries and structure and discipline into your life to realign you spiritually, mentally, physically, all of the above? Because Virgo is physical, Pisces is spiritual. So just want to make sure I have everything. Oh, integrate conscious versus subconscious, power in numbers and collaboration, and the age of Aquarius. You know, the age of Aquarius, obviously Aquarius is a sign that is kind of associated with the 11th house. Aquarius is also a sign. It's, you know, it's kind of a, what's the word? Not a paradox. I keep using that word instead of another word, but it's the irony, I guess would be a good word, of Aquarius is that, you know, the shadow of Aquarius is to seclude yourself from people, but in reality, the highest vibrating form, sorry, Mercury retrograde and all these retrogrades, but the highest vibrating form of Aquarius is to integrate with people in the collective. So there's really power in numbers right now, and I really want you guys to capitalize on that, even if you don't have Aquarius placements. We're in the age of Aquarius. If you are alive right now, then you incarnated here to be alive at this pivotal moment in time. So this is for everybody. You know, the age of Aquarius touches everybody. I guarantee you have at least one Aquarius in your life, even if you don't know it, but or somebody that has a prominent Aquarius placement. But there's really power in numbers and something about building a community and a community aspect of things together. So as far as the aspects to this full moon, we already touched on the conjunction to Saturn. That is, Saturn is at 3 degrees of Pisces, and this is kind of like a restriction in the need of an emotional purge. And I say this lightly because it can go one of two ways. We have to remember that when we're looking at any aspect, all the planets are on cycles. So you have to look and see if it's an approaching aspect or if it's a separating aspect. This happens to be a separating aspect because the conjunction with Saturn is happening before the full moon. So when you have a separating aspect, it's like the moon is trying to emotionally pull away from Saturn. If you think of it like that, Saturn is restriction, discipline, and it's in retrograde right now in Pisces, and he is reviewing all the Piscean themes, and the moon is, Cancerian energy. So there's a discrepancy there, and it's almost like, where have we been blocking ourselves? Because Saturn can bring up blocks, especially in regards to our spirituality. But like I said, it can go one of two ways. It can be, where have we been overindulging in Piscean themes with Saturn and Pisces? But the emotional standpoint, I feel like we're going to get to a point when we get to that conjunction right before the full moon, where we're emotionally seeing things from a different level, and we're able to see where our subconscious blocks are, where our physical blocks are, where our mental blocks are, and where, pretty much all aspects of ourselves are blocked, whether that be in Piscean areas of our chart or in our life. Make sure you check out what house 7 degrees of Pisces is in, and what other aspects in your natal chart this full moon is aspecting. But we really have to take a look and see what those emotional blocks are on that dark moon in Aquarius, the few hours leading up to the full moon, and into the 1st degrees of Pisces, and then we'll be able to kind of get a feel for what is being blocked and what we're trying to purge ourselves from as we move into the waning phase of the lunation cycle. There is an exact in conjunction over to Juno at 7 degrees of Leo, and it is exact. And these blocks, like I said in the channel portion, could be in regards to our long-term partnerships or in romantic partnerships in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't necessarily have to be marriages. And then the dispositor of this full moon is, of course, Neptune. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. It's at 26 degrees. Neptune is also making in conjunction to the South Node in Libra. This is, again, highlighting our relationships. So there is a little bit of a connection between Venus retrograde and the South Node, because the dispositor of the South Node is Venus. But this in conjunction from the dispositor of the full moon over to the South Node in Libra is almost where we have been kind of deceiving ourselves or gaslighting ourselves, is what I wanted to say, in regards to our relationships, because South Node, anywhere the South Node is going to be kind of like the dark side of humanity. And then Neptune blurs the lines, especially in retrograde in Pisces. Piscean energy and Neptune are woo, way out there, just out of this world, crazy, not really seeing clear reality at all. So where have we not been seeing things clearly in regards to South Node in Libra? South Node in Libra is the dark side of relationships. North Node is in Aries right now. This is about doing things that you need to do for yourself, taking action, moving forward, having vitality and courage to get things done and do things that you need to do for yourself, not necessarily what you need to do for your partner or other people. That's not disregarding those relationships, but are we subconsciously stuck in these relationship pattern loops, and are we just reincarnating with the same karmic cycles and karmic people every fucking time? Come on, people, wake the hell up. It's South Node Libra. Go towards the North Node in Aries. Find an equilibrium, a balance with Libra and Venus retrograde. It's time to rip the rose-colored glasses off. The dispositor is also sextile over to Pluto retrograde, and this is just kind of implementing that need for transformation, and implementing those spiritual lessons. Pluto is a planet of death and transformation, death and rebirth, and Pisces and Neptune and Pisces is, emphasizing that spiritual component to things. So this is just kind of a supportive aspect. A sextile is not as easygoing as a trine, so you do have to implement the work, but there is basically everything is set up for you so that if you were putting in the work, if you're doing the shadow work on things that need to be transformed, things that need to die, and things that need to be rebirthed, then you're going to get the spiritual reward in the long term. There is an opposition to Mars at 2 degrees of Libra, and this is finding balance between, aggression and passivity, more or less, because Mars and Neptune don't necessarily get along. Opposition's a little bit better than the square, but Mars does not do well in Libra, so I feel like we're leaning towards more of an aggressive standpoint right now. Mars in Libra is technically in its detriment. because the ruler of Libra is Venus, and so Mars is in Venus's territory. So the opposition between Neptune and Mars can be a little bit hostile and passive aggressive even. So just be wary of being on the overly aggressive side right now. Also, there is a sextile to Uranus, which just stationed retrograde yesterday when I'm filming this on the 28th. In Taurus, and this is kind of allowing transformation that leads to unexpected changes and moving forward to build things that you want for the future. Taurus is about putting in the slow and steady work. It's one brick at a time, one step at a time, one page at a time type of energy. But with Uranus, it's like if you're putting in this slow and steady work thinking you're not going to get a payout tomorrow, you might. So just keep putting in the work, taking one step at a time, doing what you need to do in regards to your spiritual mission with Neptune and Pisces. So that is as far as I'm going to go on the aspects. Like I said, I've been kind of focusing on the channel messages. I did want to read the Sabian symbol for the degree that this full moon is at, which is at 7 degrees and 25 minutes of Pisces, but we are going to move to 8 degrees with the Sabian symbols. So 8 degrees of Pisces, a girl blowing a bulge, keywords, synonyms. Theme, a call to action. This symbol speaks to self-refinement and the development of special expertise and skill. The image of a girl blowing a bulge emphasizes personal responsibility and pride in accomplishment. The suggestion here is that individuals find their ultimate happiness through being of genuine service to others and finding a special niche for themselves among their fellows. On a practical level, this degree can indicate a wake-up call, bragging, a tooting of one's own horn. Positive. At its highest, the symbol represents directness and a special gift for finding opportunities to demonstrate competency and talent. Negative, intrusiveness, and loud attention-getting behavior. Today, the accent is on a wake-up call. This day could present a special challenge. It's definitely time to pay attention to what you hear. Opportunity. Your greatest advantage lies in being prepared to take action. Keep your wits about you and do what has to be done to be responsible. Risk. Guard against dismissing some signal you get as a false alarm. Try not to have everything in your life so ordered and controlled that you can't handle unexpected emergencies or take advantage of that opportunity that you've been waiting for. Stepping stones, call, invitation, socialization, signal, challenge, command, directive, citation, evocation, proclamation, achievement, responsibility, announcement, self-expression, alert, warning, cue, prompt. So that was a Sabian symbol. Let's just get an oracle card and a tarot card. But yeah, overall, guys, I think this there is a little bit of hostile energy with this full moon. It doesn't look all that bad, though, honestly. You know, with that conjunction to Saturn, it can just create a little bit of resistance and just kind of having to reap what you've sown type of energy. So as long as you've been in your integrity, your spiritual integrity, your 3D integrity, you've been in love and your spiritual mission, I think you guys will be okay. And if you haven't, it's looking at those patterns that you haven't been doing the right thing and correcting them and moving forward, because all you can do is forgive yourself. You can't beat yourself up over it. Something about the 11th house, transits, and the IC. Interesting. I didn't mean to pull all three, but 49, 38, and 55 could be could resonate with some of you, but I think the emphasis here is on the 11th house. Like I said, this is the age of Aquarius. The 11th house corresponds to Aquarius. I don't like to assign the signs to the houses, but they do have a distinct correlation. So definitely about getting out there in community, collaborating with people that can be of help and benefit to you, and that you can be of benefit and help to others. Maybe other people, things like therapy and counseling, or going to a spiritual counselor if you don't like traditional psychotherapy, could be beneficial for you in seeing where your blocks are and seeing where you need to kind of review things and rediscipline yourself in regards to the Pisces area of your chart. And let's get one tarot card. It was quick. 10 of Pentacles. So there might be a little bit of financial payout for some of you guys that have been putting in the work in regards to your spiritual integrity with a full moon in Pisces. So we'll get a clarifier. I didn't even shuffle, but King of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Interesting. I feel like this is about, you know, if a lot of you guys have financial goals, I feel like if you've been working towards them, again, with the 10 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, you're going to get a payout. There could be significant earth sign energy in your life. If you're watching this, with the King of Pentacles here, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, especially with the Sun in Capricorn, Sun in Virgo. But this is about listening to your intuition in regards to your financial status and your financial goals in the long term. The High Priestess is a passive, feminine, intuitive energy. So it's really about quieting your mind. Again, going back to my channel messages about stillness and being quiet and silent and still. This is about being still within yourself, your feminine aspects alone, and listening to that intuition, that higher calling on how you can get your 3D financial payout. So if this did resonate at all, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. I will post these channeled and scripted messages over on my Instagram, and I'll try to remember to post them on my YouTube community page. And if you guys need to book a personal reading with me, you can shoot me a message on any platform. I will have my website up soon, and you guys will be able to book right on there. But until next time, happy full moon in Pisces. I love you.